Okay, so welcome to November's what are we in? PyScript FUN meeting. What's PyScript FUN? PyScript FUN is that water cooler moment where you're all having a chat around the water cooler and a friend or a colleague comes up, sidles up and says, "Hey, do you want to see something cool?" And you go, "Yeah." And you go back to their desk and they say, "I've written this Death Star in JavaScript," or "I'm making a cat out of microbits or something," and you'll go, "Wow, that's amazing." And this is PyScript FUN, so it's for those PyScript water cooler moments where people could turn up and go, "Hey, do you want to see something cool with PyScript?" And we celebrate those things, and people can ask questions and generally share the PyScript love. And so we have two demos that I know of today. Andrea has something fun and technical, which he says will be quick. So Andrea's going to go first, and then I have something fun and community-oriented and technical, which I'll talk about afterwards. And that's it, I think. So, one other thing. I want to just ask Jessie, would you like to introduce yourself since it's the first time you've appeared?
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. I am Jessie. I am new at Anaconda, very excited to work with such smart and interesting people, and very excited about all the projects that are developed by the wonderful people here at Anaconda, as well as the community that supports them. So, very excited to engage with you all. And uh, I got nothing else. Is there anything else I should share? I like dogs, books, plants. The end.
This is all good. Jesse,
Excellent.
you broke up a little bit at the beginning, but but
Oh,
just in case, Jesse is our
okay.
new manager, so she is managing the open source team in which PyScript lives at Anaconda. So, she's going to be around
Thank
a lot
you.
more. So, okay,
Sorry for the wife.
no, don't worry. Hey, 21st century problems. This is what we have. Um, Okay, so we have two demos, and Andrea, would you like to go first?
Yes, and I'm gonna share my screen, and you're gonna see my editor. So,
Hang on a second, it's still coming through.
come on.
Carrier pigeons. Oh yeah, okay, I can see it now. Perfect.
Right. So, I've introduced this last time during the last PyScript community call, and people were excited in Discord about this. And what is this? So this is going to be about files. Why files are important? Because, well, files are the way you can upload, download, or share files with the user. We might have a situation where you are in a worker and the worker doesn't access directly the DOM interface and doesn't access directly, most importantly, the file word that you can only upload, read, or save from from such DOM interface. Files could not travel between the main word and the worker because, well, mostly because when we travel stuff from the main to the worker is we need binary conversions or something that can be serialized into binary format, and files were not supported. But right now, with latest changes in the core of PyScript and PolyScript before that, so right now I'm showing you some PolyScript demo because it's not released yet in PyScript, but it's gonna work in PyScript too. The We can show an input type file and an ID, or it could have been a class file just to make it reachable through the DOM query selector. And right now it's disabled, but it's gonna be enabled as soon as the Python runtime kicks in. And so right now you can see a lot of try catches because I found a bug in Pyodide, or what I believe is a bug in Pyodide. And here Pyodide bug issue 5990. If you wanna check what is this about, go there. But basically, Pyodide doesn't understand files, which made me slightly sad. But usually they fix stuff speedlight, so glad to file yet another useful bug eventually, hopefully, for Pyodide. So what else does this code do? So it queries the file, it set it not disabled anymore, and it set a listener. This listener is just here to demo that if there is an event and there is a file input kind of thing, we can reach the event target files at 0, because we are not right now, the demo is not supporting multiple files. It could support multiple files with ease, and we are printing the name, the size, the text, and the file. The content in this case is file text. In here, I'm doing nothing. I'm just importing MicroPython main.py, and this is not a worker. So this is a smoke test, and the smoke test is gonna be like this. So this is MicroPython. I choose a file, a random txt. It contains a random number. I open it, and that's it. I see the name, the size, and the text. So I can tell for sure that this file reference or instance that comes from the DOM word, from actually not the DOM word, from my operating system, because I just uploaded a file to the virtual memory that is handling the entirety of this page, and it's working. So if I add a worker, if you try with the current PyScript, this is going to break, because there's no way to transfer files from the main thread to the worker. So this is probably more meaningful if I had Pyodide in here instead. But right now, what we're going to do is just worker. So to test that a worker, which is not a thread running on the main browser view window thing, is still able to just add a listener to the input file and receive the correct thing. So file name, file size, and eventually all the things that the file API in the DOM or the native web provides. So I'm gonna refresh, and I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna choose a file, random txt, and that's it. So I'm super happy this works on MicroPython. I'm super sad I've discovered only today, because I created this demo for the community's sake, that it's actually failing on Pyodide, but not because the underlying logic is not working. It's because probably Pyodide doesn't recognize the file as a something that they could understand as a reference. So Pyodide has like every FFI has this conversion from JavaScript to Python, and probably this is a glitch in the matrix. And that's it. That's my demo. So just to provide content about why we provide a way to work with files, because files means that right now I'm just the text content, the size of this file is irrelevant. But usually when you want to upload file, maybe it can be an image and you want to process that image somewhere, or pass that image to some more convoluted process that does a lot of things, and you never want those processing things to affect your browsing experience. So not blocking, not nothing, and you can pass a full file to Pyodide and tell Pyodide, hey, here is the binary version of this thing, and you should be able to handle it, which is not the case. It could also be that we in PyScript automatically transform files from the main word, from the main thread, to files into Python, which I think will be probably easier and welcomed from Python users. But right now, enabling this API, this transfer from the main thread to the worker around blobs and files, I think is the first brick, and the first brick seems to work well, at least in MicroPython. And still, the data travels into Pyodide too. But that's it from me.
Okay, so the important thing about this for me is you want to upload a file in your browser. That's the little widget that we're talking about, and that's just arbitrary random data. But I can imagine a use case. For instance, you're writing, I don't know, a photo album in PyScript, and you want to make sure that they're not sending you super high resolution images that are megabytes huge. You want to test the limit, the size, so you can use the metadata that you can get in the browser before it even hits the server where you're uploading the file to. So you're doing some sort of pre-processing, actually, sorry, through this feature. And the fact that it works on workers as well means that as we know, the main thread, you don't block the main thread in a browser, otherwise the page freezes, and it's not fun for anybody. Okay, so you put all the work on a worker, and then you can start to use Pyodide and all the magic and the features that it uses on a worker. It's still in your browser, but it's not blocking the main thread, and then you can do all the magic things. So this is a really interesting technical snippet, but it's going to enable a lot of really interesting binary related things. I imagine data scientists. And you mentioned the point about Python. You could upload a Python file, and this is a way of building a Python IDE in Python in the browser, where you could upload
Or
Python to the Python IDE. It's kind of like going around in circles. It's really quite fun.
or a database, SQLite database.
Yeah.
You upload it and you read and you screen what's in there. And but also this is one way to feed your browser view with whatever you want. And at the same time, from that point on, you can download from that feeding whatever you want to. So the manipulation and coming back of an image or a database change or anything is a very good one. And yeah, this is just a way to process somewhere else in a worker whatever heavy computation needs to be processed and pass. So the file is one case, but you can pass blobs, any kind of blobs, which can be fetched from the main thread from anywhere, because the main thread is usually the orchestrator of everything, and it can just pass along as like, hey, deal with it, and the worker is going to deal with it. But I think what I've mentioned here is one improvement that should be there already. I didn't think about it before, but again, it's about having working bricks and then build on top of it, of those. So I want to be able to, whenever it's a file that comes to Python, I might step over MicroPython. Maybe it's a bad idea, but I might step over MicroPython and Pyodide idea what a file is and convert that into an actual file pointer into the virtual file system, because that might be even easier for users. So you just change and you have to deal with a proper Python file.
But here's the thing though. What I like about the work that you do, Andrea, is that often it's so deeply technical at a depth that not a lot of people work at, that you find no, this is good. We need divers like you down at the deep end, because you are finding those kind of like bugs as you have done this week with Pyodide. We can feed them back up to the upstream project, the Pyodide project, who are independent of PyScript, but we rely on them. We stand on the shoulders of giants. So this is how open source community is supposed to work. So everybody wins here. So yeah, are there any questions or points, or Bogdan, you're going to have to ask your questions through the medium of interpretive dance, because I know you can't talk because you're chicken and okay.
Please do the chicken dance, please.
Okay, I don't think there are any questions. Okay, so I will, or is he typing a question? I can't see because everything's full screen for me at the moment, Bogdan, so I can't see what you're typing. Okay, I will go on to my demo then. So I'm going to try and share my screen, which is always fun in Discord. Oh man, allow. Right, share screen. Now, can you see my full screen here? Can someone say something, because I can't see you?
I see it.
Yes.
So
Yes,
you should be
I
able to,
see Discord.
yeah. You see Discord, or do you see my browser with PyScript packages on it?
I see Discord.
Okay, so then I've
Yeah.
managed to save everything. I share everything in the wrong way. So let me just try.
Now it's Inception.
Change stream. Entire screen. Entire
Yes.
screen. Right. Now, can you see my browser?
Yes, PyScript packages.
Yeah, fantastic. And can you see my command line appear there as well?
Yeah.
Over the top. Yeah, perfect. Okay, we're in the good place then. Right. Okay, so folks, one of the common things that we hear from our users on Discord is, why doesn't package blah 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 work with PyScript? And there's often an awful lot of subtle reasons why that might not be the case. Furthermore, the folks in the Pyodide project have spent a lot of time curating certain popular Python packages so that they do work with Python in the browser. Now, there's a lot going on here. For a start, if you're running just a pure Python package, it should just work. Note the air quotes there, the Dr. Evil air quotes, okay? But if that package contains C code or Rust code or any compiled aspect of it, then it needs to be compiled especially for WebAssembly, which is the platform that we use in the browser to run PyScript and Pyodide and MicroPython and things like that. So one of the things that we're working on this quarter is making it easier for folks to understand, when they're trying to use a package that doesn't work. So we're going to give you better error messages for a start, so it's not hidden away in your browser console and things like that. But B, we want to give you a place where you can go and look and check and report on what the status of certain packages is. Okay, so this last, I don't know, week and a half, I've been ill earlier this week, so I've missed half a week, but I've been working on something called PyScript Packages, which is a website which is actually a PyScript app. So it's completely statically deployed on the internet. So there's no back-end database or dynamic server going on. It's just static files being served, and all the computation is happening in your browser. So it's an idiomatic PyScript application. And what does it do? It tells you what the status of packages are in PyScript. So it helps you figure out, does this package work or not, etc., etc. So it's here on GitHub under the PyScript organization, under PyScript packages. So please go take a look. Read the README. It tells you how to set it up. But I'm going to give you a kind of a quick run through of this. So I've already git cloned it. And what I'm going to do is just run a local server here. On localhost. So if I go to localhost 8000, here's the page. So what do I get? I get somewhere where I can type in the name of a package, which I might want to find the status of. I've also got some of the popular most 100 packages according to PyPI stats, and it tells you whether they are not supported. For example, Boto is not supported. Why not? Well, it never will likely be supported because it has dependencies on networking AWS things that are actually limited by the browser environment in which PyScript works. So obviously it's not going to work there. But there are going to be some, for instance, requests will work. And if that's the case, then what I've done is scraped information about, well, how do you use requests? Which versions of requests work with which versions of Pyodide under the hood. We can also go and see things about the package itself on PyPI as well, etc., etc. Okay, so that's all rather cool. And I can see that there are some that are amber, which means we don't yet know what the status of that package is. But I could also ask for packages by typing their names into this search box. So there's a package that I've written called DogGPT. Okay, what's that? It's advanced AI, but for dogs. It's a bit of a joke package that myself and a friend did. Now, we don't know what the status of this package is yet because nobody's ever tried it in PyScript, okay? But this website understands that, and what it does is it creates a PyEditor for you with a snippet of code that tries to install that doggpt package from PyPI and import it. That's a very early sort of smoke test. So if I do that and run it, I can actually see that, well, yes, it has actually worked. So let's just try using the app a little bit further, just to make sure it works. And I happen to know, because I'm the author, that it only has one method called text, and that will retrieve text generated by an advanced AI dog. And you ask it questions like, I don't know, what is the meaning of life? And we'll get a response, I guess. So if I press play, it's thinking, and it's going to come back with cat, grr, woof, grr, tummy rub, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so now I've established that DogGPT actually works. I can fill in this Google form here. I've already filled in the name of the package. I could put in my email address. I could say that actually it looks like it's green supported. And I've already filled in some example text and comments, so I can actually say what I did. Also, this is markdown as well, that I put DogGPT dot text something, etc., etc. And I can fill that in and then submit it. And then we have a script that will take the results of that Google form and turn it into something that will actually say when the next user of DogGPT in Pyodide turns up, they'll be able to see, it does work, because the status will be turned from amber to green. Alternatively, if we go to a package, leave the site, yes. If we go to a package that may not work, for example, I'm not sure what might not work. I don't know. Let's try S3 transfer. So will that work? The tension's killing me. Oh, that does work. Let's try and find something that doesn't work. I don't know. Google API call probably won't work. But you'll see, I'll get some error messages. Here we go, error messages. And I can paste these error messages into the form underneath. And that will then become a red, does not work, is not supported. And when somebody comes and has a look at it, they can see, I get these sorts of error messages were I to try and do that sort of thing. So that's it in a nutshell. There is a dark mode as well, because whilst I actually created the site, I didn't do any of the CSS. I just asked Claude Code or something like that to do it, and it did a really good job, I think. I mean, I really like the way it's kind of colored the tiles for the top 100 Python packages. Interestingly, most of these are green or amber at the moment, which is a good sign for us. So that's it in a nutshell. I'm going to try and stop sharing my screen now. Stop streaming. That's it. That's the demo. Any questions? I can see Andrea, of course. Andrea has his hand up.
Plenty of the questions. No, just two. The first one, when you try and it fails, and you post the failure, I understand it's useful because it feels like nobody tried that before. But my silly question is, could we automate that? Because you can produce an example of a basic usage of the thing, and the thing fails, and suddenly it fails. But that requires every user to try that, and eventually a lot of failure reports for something that is obvious is failing.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we should somehow be smarter about that and automate that failure. But I know there are dozen thousand packages to test. But at the same time, you are doing a manual micropip install.
Yeah.
And are those packages also listed in the official Pyodide supported package thing? Because right now we try to help people to not include packages that are not supported. But what I've seen here is that there is dog GPT that is nowhere in the Pyodide graph, and we don't want people to not being able to install that.
Exactly.
So that's something we might
It's
fix.
interesting because this is DogGPT is clearly a pure Python package. So it should, in fact, it runs in MicroPython as well. It's just standard idiomatic Python. Whereas the
If
Pyodide.
you put GPT in the packages
Mm-hmm.
list in a config toml or JSON, um, does it work?
Uh, with the latest version, I think you'll get an error or a warning. You see that this, I think what we should do. This is interesting because the work that I'm doing is intersecting in an interesting way with the work that you're doing, because there are going to be pure Python packages that are not blessed by Pyodide but will clearly work with Pyodide because they are just bog standard Python. They don't have like a C compiled thing that needs to be compiled to WebAssembly, or they don't use, I don't know, some funky sockets thing that the browser doesn't support or anything. They are just
Agreed.
a goofy app that, for instance, Ginger 2 is a good example. That's not supported, but it's pure Python, so it definitely works. If you see what I mean.
Agreed. And how do we do that at runtime? Because if we cannot, then the current throwing out of packages that are not supposed to be there is
Broken.
working. It's
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
Not working, and we need to fix that and
I agree.
release as soon as possible. And I wish we explored this before. And I'm sorry, personally.
No. Don't apologize.
No, I do, because I don't, I'm not aware of all the ways the packages can be imported, but clearly this, if there is a runtime expectation about packages, what can we do?
Yeah.
Not much.
Yeah.
We can just say, maybe it's worth it to say, to put a warning like, hey, this package is not officially supported out of Pilot, and those warnings are in DevTools and nobody cares about those. If you do, you can read the
Yeah.
warnings. Otherwise, the original idea of helping users, it's kind of weird. So I don't want to say weird, but I mean, users need to understand DevTools, otherwise they cannot be helped out.
Well,
Because we don't wanna trash on the
Mm.
main page.
So where we
This page is blah 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 blah. So we don't wanna show errors.
Yeah,
We want to show
here's
warnings.
but what we're talking about here, when you say users, I mean developers who use PyScript. So these aren't end users of the PyScript app. These are the people writing the PyScript app. And so I think it would be a safe assumption to think that they are technical in some respect because they are writing a Python-based application in the browser, and that part of that is that they read our docs, and we talk extensively in our docs about using the dev tools in the browser to be able to see what's on the console log and things like that. The other thing, I mean, there are two things going on here as well, which I just want to point out. Number one, folks, this is what finding a bug looks like. Woohoo! This is a good thing. Okay. Number two, there's no failure going on here either. Perhaps Andrea and I, because I reviewed Andrea's code and things like that, that the only the thing that we were lacking was a lack of imagination to go, oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. And so what we're going to do is just refine and improve PyScript as a result of this. And the fact that it's orthogonal work to it is kind of helpful to this. The important
Yeah,
thing is
but
that the more people do with this, the more bugs are likely to appear. So please don't hesitate to.
to keep it fun, my biggest regret is that we cannot ship .gpt to
Yeah.
the other world, because right now .gpt is gonna throw an error saying, hey, Python doesn't support .gpt, which is not true. So start wondering what's the so Python supports specific packages. I guess those packages are not pure Python packages, and so
It's hard to tell at runtime.
I think we did a mistake in classifying all those packages are as the only packages available on Pyodide,
Yeah.
which is some lesson to learn, but it means that we quickly need to fix that, because
Release tomorrow then.
yeah, 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 I mean, removing code is always easy. So some code to either remove or change, um, which is gonna be a warning
Yeah.
eventually instead of and yeah, there is a pull request already on PyScript, and I've mentioned you and other people involved, and I think that pull request just needs an amend. So I just remove the throwing,
Mm.
and everything else
So,
should
so hang on,
flow.
hang on. You've actually fixed it whilst we were in this meeting.
No, no, no. It
Oh,
happened yesterday
oh,
or two
right.
days
Okay.
ago,
I'm just
and I
Web Yoda strikes again. I mean,
yeah, no, no. Because it's easy. So it's our own decision. So should we throw or should we not?
yeah,
And right now we are throwing,
yeah.
because
We
that's
should not.
supposed to
I
be
think is
the
yeah, yeah,
your yeah. But because when people ask for easy feedback, maybe they expect the 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 thing on the page that says, "Hey, you're doing it wrong." Personally, I always thought that thing on the page that says "you are wrong" is is a no go,
yeah,
because in production it's not gonna work. It's never
yeah,
gonna work, and but at the same time, we want to help users to do the right thing. So I want all our warnings to be somehow visible,
yeah.
but it's not going to be on something throw at you on the page, because we already had users complaining about it, and I think it's
So you bring up a really important point here. You said we've got
yeah,
users complaining about it, folks.
yeah,
When you're watching this at home and you're getting to this segment and going, I know what we should do. Tell us on Discord, and we can have those conversations in the chat channel in PyScript Help or wherever it is, and we can work out. We can listen to you. We can listen to the different points of view because, of course, not everybody agrees on the internet. Tell me something everybody doesn't know, and we can try and figure out a nice third path that perhaps compromises, or there's a flag, or there's a configuration, or something. We'll figure it out. The best solution is usually the non-technical solution, in my experience, but let's just see what the community comes up with. So if you've got this far in the video, tell us what you think, please. um
Uh,
well,
you
we've got
just gave me an idea. You just gave me an idea. The flag, the flag.
yeah,
So the flag cannot be everywhere. The
yeah,
flag can be a warning by default.
yeah.
But
You can have a
if
noisy
the top
flag.
level, if the top level URL has a question PyScript throw,
Mm.
then we might throw an error and
Well,
show to users what's
the
going on.
convention with the command line anyway, and again, I would love to hear what people in the community think. Tell us on Discord.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
the
but the
command line, you
runtime, the
usually use a
runtime.
minus V for verbose. So if you
Oh
had
yeah,
a verbose flag in the URL, then PyScript can tell you all the things in the DOM, not hidden in the console. And so it's a that's actually, I quite like that. That's sort of debug mode.
yeah,
We Tell
yeah.
us what you think. Tell us what you think. Bogdan, you put your hand up and then put it down and then put it up and put it down. So I'm not quite sure whether that's interpretive dance or you're actually going to ask us a question.
I am no longer allowed to do interpretive dances.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I've been told. Uh, but yeah, so I really like your app, and I was just wondering how visible it is. Is it like on the PyScript.net? Do we?
You've brought up a really good point, and it's something that I forgot to mention, and I'm pleased you asked me now. Um, it's the question of where do we put this? When I've spoken internally in Anaconda with Dan and Andrea, we've imagined, because this is to do with the open source project, it will be somewhere like packages.pyscript.net, which is where the open source work is. Okay, or pkg package. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
pkg.pyscript.net.
I'm sharing again. I think it's best to share.
Oh, there we go. Hello, Mrs. Bogdan. Um, uh, that's totally throwing my train of thought. Yes, where are we going to put this? It's going to be some subdomain with an appropriate name. .pyscript.net is what we're thinking at this moment in time. It's a static website, so we could host it on S3 or on GitHub Pages. It's very easy for
I,
our Anaconda admins to set that up, and we can make it
I,
so that when we merge into the main branch, it automatically deploys for us as well from GitHub.
I guess the question was why there's no link to it already in the
Because we've not
PyScript
agreed on where the
website.
domain is, and we need to agree on that. And then once it's up, what I'm hoping is that people will watch this video, go, "That's a good idea," except he's not thought of ... and then they will tell me on Discord what ... is. I can fix it, so we have a kind of a more refined version of it. It's also easy for you to just run it at home. Just git clone a thing and do the little Python -m http.server. It's all explained in the README, so you can try it out at home on localhost. Andrea's going to tell me I'm all wrong here, and Bogdan is.
No, you're not wrong. It's still open source, so it's great. But at the end of the day, it's an easy endpoint where people can check whenever a package is gonna run or not. And I love the fact that you use the PyEditor to do that, and people don't need to clone, and so it should be easy, right? So people shouldn't need to clone the repository, run scripts and stuff to test in their own localhost that stuff is working. There should be a website, and I think
it's definitely going on the web. This is just it. We've not launched it yet. This is the look behind the curtain before.
That's what I mean. So we should have, and if we don't, it should be in PyScript.net / something, and I think it's going to be a great tool for anyone that is interested in the packages compatibility, and also the fact that we are showing how to test, and there is a PyEditor, so we are like dog fooding our own ecosystem, and I love that.
This is what it's supposed to be. The thing is that all the data as well is in static JSON files, and all that PyScript is doing is grabbing those JSON files from within the domain, and so it means that if you are a third party and you know what the domain, that we have a data directory with a whole bunch of JSON, you can just use it like any API. Just download the JSON for that particular package. Bogdan, you had your hand up. You were going to say something as feedback. He's going to have to do it through the medium of interpretive dance. He's going to type it in, but I can't see you type. Oh, I'm going to have to stop going full screen. Okay.
What's going on?
Or could somebody read it out for me when it turns up? Because I'm recording my screen here.
Do we have?
The tension is mounting. We need mysterious music, and then the message will arrive.
It's happening where? Where are you typing?
Which channel?
Yeah,
it'll be in the channel that this meeting is in. 2 words. It's a film.
First one up. Second one there.
Up there. Up there. Can you take this video cut in? Oh, hang on. I see. Okay. How's this for beginners? Can you take this video, cut the instruction part, and put it on the website? Do you know what? I am going to record a video and put some music in the background and put some captions underneath and do that. It's a 30 minute. It won't be 30 minutes. It's going to be a 30-second kind of, this is how you use this website, YouTube video. But for that to happen, it kind of needs to be in a more or less finalized state, because if I change the way it looks or the way it behaves, then I'm going to have to re-record the video. So it's literally the last thing I'm going to do. But Bogdan, I know you keep getting at me to do that. So that sort of thing, short videos that are entertaining. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So yeah. Okay. If there's nothing else, I think we don't have any more demos. It's a great sense of timing there from that person who came into the meeting. If there's nothing else, then what I will do is stop the video, and thank you very much for watching at home.